Hockey Day in the Bird rolls on here on FATV. We are live from the Wallace Civic Center in Fitchburg on the campus of Fitchburg State University, and we are ready for the third and final game of our triple header. It is the Red Raiders of Fitchburg Monty Tech taking on the Bernardians of St. Bernard's, an all Fitchburg affair here on Hockey Night in Fitchburg, continuing Hockey Day in the Berg. Those are two different things, two different trademarks. Make sure we get them both in there. I'm John Gugerty, joined as always by Dan Bolak. And Dan, I will confess, was getting a little tired after that second game, but just hearing the roar as these teams took the ice, I'm ready. Let's call some freaking hockey. This is going to be fun.
Oh, yes, and these two teams, they're drawing quite well, as you would expect for a local affair. Fitchburg Monty Tech 8-4 coming into today. St. Bernard's on quite the run. It's been a long time, I think, since the Bernardians have had a run of success like they have. 9-3. They've won their last 8. They won 2 games last year and none the year before. And they've come back. This is the third year since they revived the program. And this year, under first-year head coach Steve Sylvia, they have been on quite the run.
7 consecutive wins for St. Bernard's. I think it's 7.
It's 8.
It's 8 consecutive wins. Minuteman, St. Paul, Gardner, St. Joseph Prep, East Boston, Minuteman again, Oakmont, and St. Joseph Prep again. All have fallen to the Bernardians. Some very impressive scorelines for St. Bernard's in there, including consecutive 12-1 wins over St. Joseph Prep and East Boston. Other side of the coin for Fitchburg Monty Tech, they've won their last 2. They beat Lunenburg Air Shirley Wednesday the 11th, defeated Gardner on Monday the 16th.
And then I forgot to actually finish that one.
Oops.
One typo in every stat sheet.
Hey, we found the one.
That was the 3-2 overtime when they had 7 days ago.
So that means 3 straight wins.
3 straight wins. Hey, that one wasn't your fault, it was mine.
Oh, good.
But hey, 3-2 in overtime. We were here for that just 7 days ago.
I mean, it's my fault I didn't remember it. I called that game.
Yeah. Sammy Jaramillo had the winning goal with 35.5 seconds left and assisted on the 2 goals in regulation scored by Colin Hines. Easton Minardi with 23 saves in that one. You know, each of the last 2 times we've had Fitchburg Monty Tech on, we said, oh, and their next game is so-and-so against so-and-so, and both times that game has been wiped out due to bad weather.
Well, so then we won't even expect to see them take on Littleton and Bromfield on Saturday the 4th. There's going to be a meteor strike or something.
That game's on the road anyway, but yeah. It's
going to hit Littleton. It's fine. It's not going to hit Fitchburg.
Well, if it's Littleton, it's fine. The rink's not there.
It's going to hit Bromfield. It's fine.
The rink's not there either. But anyway, enough joking about it with all that stuff. And so we talk about how these teams perform on the season, how they get on. For Fitchburg Monty Tech, it's a strong top line. Sam Jaramillo, 23 points on the campaign. Colin Hines, he's got 19 and 11 goals. Cody Berkio's got 20 points. And they've got a solid pair of netminders and sophomores, Owen Richard and Easton Minardi. As for St. Bernard's, the first thing that stands out when you look at this roster is not necessarily the size of the players, but the size of the roster in total. They do not have a lot of players at their disposal.
No, they do not. We counted 10 skaters for St. Bernard's, not counting their one and only goaltender, Chase Bergeron. They do not have the luxury of a backup. It is Chase Bergeron, and if he cannot play goal, we're going to be in for some bad times for St. Bernard's. So it will be Chase Bergeron in net for St. Bernard's. Of that we can be sure. Their 2 leading goal scorers on the season, Hunter Lamming, 19 goals, and Ben Stout, 16 goals. Those 2 players alone, 35 goals between them on the season. We mentioned the St. Bernard's team has scored in bunches against their opposition. Their last game against St. Joseph Prep on Saturday the 21st was a 12-0 victory. The 3rd time this season they've hung a dozen on somebody.
Yep, and yeah, St. Joseph Prep really struggling with the hockey program as it currently is right now. Very young program, very small team, and only so much you can do. They play at the Bruins practice facility, so St. Pete's got to go out there, check that out, and hang a dozen on the Phoenix. Hunter Lammy and Nick Tonzak had a hat trick and 2 assists each. Ben Stout a goal and 4 assists. Nolan Stout 2 goals and 2 assists. Ryan Gallant a goal and 3 assists. Michael Lucas a goal and 2 assists. Colin Madrowitz, who has 19 goals in the season too, has a goal and an assist. Braden Pratt and Shane Law each had an assist. And Chase Bergeron got his first career shutout. So much happened in that game for St. Bernard's. But yeah, they've got every single player has at least gotten on the score sheet this year in some way, shape, or form. And this is a team that is still going to play you tough 45 minutes. I mean, last year I remember Pittsburgh Monty Tech took on Chicopee, who I believe only ended up playing 8 skaters. And Chicopee was able to win that game, 2-1. And so it's not necessarily a matter of how many have you got at your disposal, it's how good are the players you've got at your disposal.
You'd rather have 10 good players than 28 mediocre ones. Pittsburgh Monty Tech does not have 28, but their players are not mediocre either. Should be a very good game. There are plenty of folks on hand. Obviously, if you are in the Pittsburgh area and feel so motivated, come on down to the Wallace Civic Center. $10 gets in the door. All proceeds going to the Jake Tebow Family Rehabilitation Fund. Let's send it down to center ice for the public address announcements and the introductions.
Pittsburgh. Here's starting lineups. First for the Bernardians. At right defense, number 18, Shane Law. Left defense, number 15, Nolan Stout. Left wing, number 10, Colin Madrowitz. Right wing, number 3, Hunter Lammy. Center, number 23, Ben Stout. And in goal, number 1, Chase Bergeron. The head coach for the Bernardians, Steven Sylvia. And now for the Red Raiders, starting at right wing, number 18, Cody Berchio. At center, number 22, Sammy Jaramillo. Left wing, number 20, Colin Hines. Defense, number 6, Brett Mayo. Defense, number 21, Wyatt Peters. And in goal, number 1, Owen Richard. The head coach of the Red Raiders is Steve Lowney. Officials for tonight's game, Joe Goff and Owen Napolitano. Ladies and gentlemen, students, at this time I'd ask you all to please stand as we honor our nation and the flag with the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Hockey Day in the Berg here on FATV. I'm John Fogarty, joined as always by Dan Golak. We are just about set for the drop of the puck in our third game of the triple header here, with all proceeds from today's festivities benefiting the Tebow Family Rehabilitation Trust. You can see right there, go to fatv.org/TBO14. That's Tango Bravo Oscar 14. Tebow Tough, the Tebow Family Rehabilitation Trust, a very worthwhile cause. This is becoming an annual tradition here at the Civic Center, one of our favorite days, Hockey Day in the Berg for the Tebow Family Rehabilitation Trust. Started with Fitchburg State falling at the hands of Plymouth State. We just saw the Milton Academy victorious over St. George's, and now it is Fitchburg Monty-Tech taking on St. Bernard's. And with the first period play-by-play is one Dan Bolak.
Thank you very much. Sammy Jaramillo steps into the center circle, faces off with Ben Stout, and we are underway here from Fitchburg. Fitchburg Monty-Tech in the home white uniforms, red numbering and trim going left to right in the first period. St. Bernard's in the road dark blue uniforms with white numbering, gold trim, and helmets. They will go from right to left. As Ben Stout moves it along, pushes it past, Wyatt Peters will watch that go all the way down to his keeper, and Owen Richard, who will cover for a draw. Richard, the sophomore, in his 6th game of the season, 3-2 record, 217 goals against, 920 save percentage, 1 shutout. Faced St. Bernard's back on December the 21st. The last time the Bernardians tasted defeat, a 6-3 win that was for Fitchburg Monty-Tech. Richard, that was his first career start, 21 saves on 24 shots for the sophomore. Chase Bergeron was asked to stand tall throughout, 45 saves for the freshman netminder, the only freshman on the St. B's roster, as icing will bring the puck down to one side of Bergeron.
Bergeron, the only freshman for St. Bernard's, also the only netminder. They do not have a backup listed. We talked about their 3 major goal scorers, Hunter Lammy, Colin Matowitz, and Ben Stout, all 3 on the first line for St. Bernard's. That has been the line that has done the bulk of the goal scoring for the Bernardians.
At St. B's, they basically have 2 lines. That is literally all they have at their disposal tonight. Officially 15 players on the roster, so 14 skaters, but 4 not dressed tonight, so only 10 to use tonight. Kyle Genrin brings it into the zone. Behind the net, squirts out to the point, settled down by Jackson Leader, throws it in the direction of goal, and cleared out of the zone. I remember calling that game last year, Fitchburg Monty-Tech against Chicopee, and talking with Chicopee's assistant and mentioning, there were going to be players who were going to play all 45 minutes just out of necessity more than anything. And in this game, I don't know if I expect to see guys like Lammy, Majowitz, and Stout playing all 45 minutes, but they're going to be getting a lot of ice time, a lot more than a forward would ever expect to see. On the far side, Nick Tomzak will skate it up ice. Tomzak battling with Alex Armstrong. And Armstrong falls to the ice, and you hear the roar from the Bernardian faithful. They've packed this near side stand. I mean, the last time I feel like I've seen this many fans on this side of the ice was, I think, a playoff game back in the day before the pandemic.
I want to point something out, Dan. You used the term falls to the ice to describe Alex Armstrong. Does a man fall when he is the recipient of a back body drop? Does that count as a fall?
Perhaps.
Okay.
I may also be calling it out of the corner of my eye, not getting the best look of it.
Okay. Well, there was a roar. There was also a roar from the Fitchburg side that wanted a penalty, because it was, and I cannot stress this enough, a back body drop. No penalty, though.
We'll
Take another look
at
it right. Okay, that's not so much a back body drop. It's kind of a hip toss. A little bit of a hip toss, actually.
Puck looked like that was in the vicinity. I think that was a fine and legal hit. That's out the near side. Colin Majowitz knocks it along. Brett Mayu will go and retrieve for the Red Raiders. Tries to get it to Hines. The Bernardian steps in the way of that, and Ben Stout comes to the right point, and Shane Law. Moved along to the left wing corner. Berkio on for Mayu. We've seen Cam Begnosh start the last couple of games on defense with Wyatt Peters. This time Mayu steps up to the top line. That one will go for icing, as Nolan Stout will go and retrieve that. And a draw coming back to one side of Richard.
I want to let the folks at home know that we will be joined during the second period by Craig Antossi, Fitchburg High School's athletic director. Good friend of FATV, always see him when we're over at Crocker Field. He'll be with us in the booth for the second period.
Won't be his first time showing up on an FATV broadcast behind the mic. Did color for a game last year with me. It's one of the captains, Tyler Brassard, moving that along, trying to stretch that for Cole Howard. Along the far side, Nick Tomzak throws it left wing corner. St. B's jumping on that one near side, squeezed out of the zone. Out of the reach of Pepin. It'll go to Ryan Hill. On the red line, Ryan Gallant throws it, excuse me, throws it into the zone, where it's moved along from behind the net to Broussard. Jackson Leader will nudge it for Howard. Back for Leader, but it hops over his stick. He has to double back and retrieve that. He's a freshman. Out of Pittsburgh High School, slammed into the boards by Tomczak.
That draws a roar from the Bernardian crowd here on the near side.
Red Raiders looking for their first shot on goal. 11:10 to go in the first period. The two shots are in favor of the Bernardians. Ben Stout tries to make it a third. That one gets blocked up at the top of the slot. Pass goes to a guy who's trying to come off the ice in Broussard. He doesn't want to take that. And so St. Bees has it back in their own end, passing it up. And here's Majewicz along the boards. Mayu will go and pick that up. It's Ben Stout with all the pressure from behind. Along for Berkio. They will move along for Jaramillo. Top line out there for the Red Raiders. Hines battling with Shane Law to the left wing corner. Goes back to Hines. Tries to nudge it along. We'll get in the way of that. And now out of the zone. You can see Hunter Lamb. He's trying to jump on that one. Get on the loose puck. There's a chance and a shot and a save by Richer off the stick of Majewicz.
Two different Red Raiders came crashing down on Lammy to make sure he couldn't make the shot. Puck found its way to the stick of Colin Majewicz. He was all alone with only Richard to beat, but he couldn't do it. It was a great save by Owen Richard. Just got his pads down, secured the puck.
Getting to the top of the paint, cutting down the angle, and making it so that if Majewicz is going to take that shot, it'll go right into him as best he can. And so that's whiffed on, couldn't keep it in the zone, Nolan Stout. And now you see getting on his horn is Hunter Kucher. Kucher gets it, tries to turn it around in front. Yardy gets in the way. Pass device for Broden Pratt. That hops out of his reach. And it'll be dumped into the right wing corner where Armstrong will go and collect. Kyle Gendron. Pass up for Nick Paquette. Paquette gains the zone, gets a shot off. There's the first shot on target for the Red Raiders, and a glove save by the freshman Chase Bergeron.
A simple catch and hold for the freshman Bergeron. Take another look at this big hit that was delivered.
Now back to live action. Jaramillo along for Berkio behind the nets. Into the left wing corner. Pinned up there, Ryan Hill with the pressure. On that left side, Guardian will take it from behind on Hill. Red Raiders having trouble really getting passes off, just how relentless St. Bees are in getting on them. Ben Stout getting a stick in there, tangling up with the Raiders. Get the shot off and the save made by Bergeron. A juicy rebound. Hines not quite in position, not able to jump on top of that. 8:50 to go in the first period, and no score. Shots 3-2 in favor of the Bernardians. Kept in by Mayu, throws it back in the direction of goal, off the boards for Adam Petman. Trying to move it along, but Pittsburgh Monty Tech intercepts. Hines with the pass off, doesn't go anywhere. Peters with a shot that trickles past Bergeron, but off the side of the net. On the right side of the twine for the Bernardians' perspective, on the wrong side for the Raiders' perspective. Back in the left wing corner, Berkio dispossessed and spit down the ice. That will be icing. No touch icing in effect in high school hockey. So you don't have to wait for someone to tag up there. And also, teams allowed to change their lines after an icing as well. There's the hit that we were looking at there. Tomczak there on Jackson Leader.
Not saying it's a bloodthirsty group of people or anything, but it got a big pop from the St. Bernard's fans. That's all I'm saying.
Face-off one directly towards Bergeron, and he will cover. Don't even have to pause the music there.
Those Catholics are violent. I can say that.
Draw one by St. Bees and trying to rush up on a 2-on-1. It's Tomczak on the right side trying to break it right to goal. He scores! Nick Tomczak on the 2-on-1. Able to beat Richard with the moves. 8:05 to go in the first, and it's St. Bernard's who have the first strike.
We spent so long talking about Lammy, talking about Majewicz, talking about Ben Stout, but here it is Nick Tomczak, the senior, gets his 8th of the season, puts the Bernardians on top.
St. Bernard's with their 79th goal in their 13th game. And Richard probably also thinking of Pratt coming up the center of the ice. Thinking about the possible dump-off option there, but still had to try to play it there. It seems like just squeezed through. Nolan Stout gets the lone assist. That'll be his 8th helper of the campaign. As here's Lammy into the zone. Lammy trying to cut towards goal, looking for that top right corner. It escapes his stick and misses the net high and wide. The left wing corner, Kuchar trying to move it along. Stumbles to the ice, Paquette. Around to the far side, Gendron. Stretches it up for Kuchar. Settles on the red line. Gendron with some moves, brings it in. Tries to protect, puts it in the center of the zone. Taken by St. Bees and tried to clear it out, but Gendron able to knock it down. Harassed by 2 Bernardians. Now behind the net to the right wing corners, Kuchar for Paquette. Trying to get past the defenders. Gets a shot off, fought off by Bergeron. Loose puck, Kuchar couldn't quite get on top of it. Still has control of it, goes to that left point in Wyatt Peters. Back to Kuchar. He gets a shot off, pad save by Bergeron. And Gendron not able to secure the rebound. It's pushed out of the zone. 6:20 to go in the first period. 1-0 St. Bees in front. They fight for it here on the near side. Hunter Lammy keeping control of it. 19 goals, 16 assists this year for the sophomore. On the red line, Sam Jaramillo gains the zone. On the right side, takes it right to goal. Bergeron says no. Mayu losing it in his skates. 2-3 Bernardians trying to harass him. Jaramillo trying to go in front for Kuchar. Couldn't get there cleanly enough. Now back into that corner. It's going to be Hill who throws it out all the way out of the zone. And the Raiders will have to retreat back in their own end. On the far side, Hines not able to control the pass. Has to duck out of the way of that hit. A stick lost there. Burkio lost his twig. And Platt not able to continue on there. There's another big hit by the Bernardians. Ryan Gallant laying the boom. And on the left side, trying to set up Burkio for the one-timer. He was right on the doorstep, but couldn't get the puck to his stick. Peters can't keep it in the zone, but he is able to keep it away from Tomczak, who got that opening strike for the Bernardians. 10 minutes gone in this contest, 1-0 to St. Bees. Right wing corner, Nolan Stout trying to pin it against the boards. Reinforcements will come in. Shane Law will move it around. On the far side corner, Law for Tomczak. Can't get it out of the zone. Yes, he can. Peters not able to play it off the hops. Now Tomczak moving in, but offside. Looks like Ryan Gallant on the right wing was just a little early coming into the zone with 4:29 to go in the first.
Saw Gallant immediately turn to look at the official and give a gesture as if to say, who, me? Really? Me? You're gonna call me offside? Really?
Apparently so.
That was the call.
Well, we'll come outside the zone. And it's won by the Bernardians. And the quick shot by Lammy is patted away by Owen Richard. Ben Stout banks it off the boards into the right wing corner. Wyatt Peters battling with Colin Majewicz. Now here's Gendron on the far side. He tries to play it off the boards and away, but stays in the zone. Stout in front, Majewicz Can't secure the one-timer. Richard loses his twig. The Raiders send it down the ice. And it does not going to be icing on that one as it slows down just before it gets to the goal line. And at that point, the officials say, you could have played that. This is dumped down, and this will lead to a delayed call. That's going to go in favor of St. Bernard's. And now Jace Bergeron gets the signal. Yeah, you should be coming off now for the extra man. I guess there was confusion for a moment.
I think they weren't certain if it was going to be against Fitchburg or if it was going to be icing.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure either. I was hedging my bets, but it is a penalty against Fitchburg Monty Tech. Nick Paquette is the guilty party who will sit for 2 minutes or less with 3:33 to go in the first period in a 1-0 lead for the quote-unquote visiting Bernardians.
Right here, they might just get Paquette for that hit.
Just a bit late there. Off the draw, Tomzak shoots and stopped by Richard. And Richard is doubled over for a moment. He might have pulled something. Slow to get up is the sophomore, Owen Richard, after he corralled that shot from the point. Back up on his skates. Trying to make sure that all is well. As we mentioned, the Raiders do have 2 other netminders, Easton Minardi, who's had slightly more appearances this year, and Matt Daigle, also a sophomore.
Daigle has yet to see the ice for Fitchburg Monty Tech.
Quick shot. That's deflected wide in the right wing court. Elbowing was the call against Paquette. As the Raiders will take that and spin it all the way down the ice. Bergeron was ready to get out and try to knock that down. Then he saw it turn towards goal and he realized, oh, it's coming towards me.
Yeah, that was a much more dangerous puck than it looked like at first.
Took that turn towards goal, and Bergeron had to get the pad down. Matchowitz on the right side. Around for Lammy. Now Ben Stout. Ben Stout trying to get it in front as Richard tries to shut down the right side of the net. That puck will squirt its way behind the net for Ben Stout. Tries to get to that left point of Tomzak. Stepping up there, but he's not able to pinch and keep it in. He'll come out of the zone. Ryan Hill will go and retrieve. Tomzak on the reset, 55 on the power. He regains the zone. He's got the goal for St. Bernard's in this 1-0 lead for the visitors. In the left wing corner, Stout battling with Berkio. On the right side, shot or pass whiffed on, and it'll be cleared out of the zone. Nolan Stout will have to retrieve with 30 to go on the power. Stretch pass knocked down by Cody Berkio. He's having a strong penalty kill here for the Red Raiders. Jacob Bruno also making things tough there for Hill. In the zone and quickly back out onto the near side, just 10 seconds to go on the man advantage. Back in the zone, and Mayu settling it down, bring it behind the net, just keep it away from the Bernardians. And along the boards, out of the zone it comes, and Nick Paquette is free from the sin bin. Back to full strength we go, and Paquette's got it. On the red line, he gains it, and in this case, Cody Berkio is the one who jumped the line. Offsides is called with 81 seconds to go in the first.
We had a really good view at that from our position on the near side. We're just to the right of the red line, so we were looking pretty much right down the blue line. You saw Berkio watching Paquette skate that puck over, and he tried to get a bit of an extra step, I'm not going to lie. He knew what he was doing, he was trying to get away with something, and he got caught. It happens.
Love how the St. B's crowd finished the line there as it's dropped off for a quick rising shot by Jaramillo. Just sails over the crossbar. Leader can't keep it in the zone. He's going to have to go back and get that one. Peter listed as a forward, but he's definitely playing more as a defenseman as it's currently structured. Bernardians trying to center in front, get a shot on. They do eventually get one there. Richard is able to make the stop.
I don't think Ryan Gallant got enough on that puck. Certainly not as much as he wanted. Puck just kind of trickled in on Richard, and he was able to scoop it up.
Ball come to the right of Richard as St. B's control it for a moment. Now Fitchburg Monty Tech trying to make their way up the near side from Jaramillo. Jaramillo may try to make the self-pass. Puck goes behind the net. We should go to 30 seconds to go in the frame. That's going to be an icing. And it will be called there. 27 seconds exactly to go in the first. Shots 8-6 in favor of Fitchburg Monty Tech, but the Bernardians have the lone goal.
That goal, a brilliant piece of individual work by Nick Tomczak.
Well, we'll come to the right of Chase Bergeron. 8 saves for the freshman. So he's trying to get it out of the zone. Wyatt Peters just barely keeps it in. Lammy, move it along. That's cut down. Kept in into the right wing corner with 10 seconds. Fitchburg Monty Tech tries to position themselves for one more shot on target. 5 seconds. Jaramillo really can't get himself into a shooting position. And that shot's not going to come. Buzzer's going to sound. And the 15 minutes here in Fitchburg finds the Bernardians and St. Bernard's holding a 1-0 lead.
Fans on the near side very happy with the play from their St. Bernard's team. Gotta say, Dan, they looked the better side. I think if one team was going to come away from this first period with a 1-0 lead, St. Bernard's deserved it.
Yeah, you can see, they brought their hitting hats out there. They're playing an abrasive style of hockey, and they've only got 10 skaters at their disposal, but it's how you use them. And right now, they're playing some pretty strong physical hockey and able to manufacture a goal from Tomczak. They've got several different players who can put the puck in the back of the net. So many that you've got to keep your eyes on. Excuse me.
Hunter Lammy again, 19 goals on the season. Colin Majewicz, 19 goals for him. Ben Stout, 16 goals. But again, it was Nick Tomczak, the senior, his 8th of the season. St. Bernard's can get points from plenty of places.
Indeed they can. And, you look at this roster, of the 15 rostered, you have 7 sophomores. Those are players who 2 years ago, when they revived this program, weren't at the high school. So they continue to build up the program and try to build up the numbers. They may not quite be there right now, but the performance is already coming in, and you can see the crowd support is significant.
It's been a tremendous turnaround for them. 2-13-1 overall last year, winless in the Coughlin Conference. But you look at them now, 9-3 record. A tremendous turnaround for St. Bernard's, and they lead this game 1-0 after the first period. Again, folks, all proceeds from today's triple header going to the Tebow Family Rehabilitation Trust. We encourage you to go to fatv.org/TBO14 if you feel so moved to make a donation. Dan and I will take the remainder of the first period break with the teams and be back with the second period of action. It's Hockey Day in the Berg here on FATV. Teams are just about ready to take the ice as we get set for the second period here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University. It is Hockey Day in the Berg on FATV. Fitchburg Monty Tech and St. Bernard's in the third game of our triple header. All proceeds from today's events going to benefit the Tebow Family Rehabilitation Trust. And St. Bernard's leads Fitchburg Monty Tech by a score of 1-0. It was a very intense first period. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first 15 minutes of action, and indeed from all of the games that we've had for you today. Of course, this day, once again, to benefit Jake Tebow and his rehabilitation fund. You see St. Bernard's delivering some big hits. And the one goal for them came in the first period off the stick of Nick Tomczak. You'll see right here a nice little move by him, and he's able to get the puck past Owen Richard. For Tomczak, it's his 8th goal of the season. That aside, Richard acquitted himself very well. He faced a ton of pressure in the first period. Big hits delivered by both sides. You see there right at the end of the period, a big one delivered for Fitchburg Monty Tech. So Danny, both of these teams are hitting hard. Both teams are playing very intense. On the St. Bernard side, it'll be interesting to see if they can keep up that pressure for the full 45.
It's always one of those big challenges. It's just the fact that you're trying to keep up that intensity for so long. It's just so, the game can drag on. And Fitchburg Monty Tech, they've got the depth. They can roll 3 lines with consistency. St. Bernard's has the 2 lines, and that's all they have. Let's say somebody gets hurt, then you have to start double shifting players. It gets become quite the balancing act there for Steve Sylvia, the first-year head coach for the Bernardians.
Only 10 skaters and 1 goaltender on the ice for St. Bernard's tonight. It's a very difficult task for them, but through 15 minutes of play, they have been the superior side. They have a 1-goal lead, and it is a well-deserved lead. We'll see if Fitchburg Monty Tech can level this game, maybe pull out to a lead of their own, or if St. Bernard's retains control. Ben Stout will take the draw for the Bernardians. They're going now left to right. They're in the all blue, trimmed in white and gold. Fitchburg Monty Tech in the white and red with black shorts. As we are underway in the second period, loose puck in left wing corner. Shot save made by Chase Bergeron. Controlled in the near corner for Fitchburg. Another shot and another save by Bergeron. He'll hang on to this one. That shot off the stick of Colin Hines.
Already Fitchburg Monty Tech coming in with a little bit of intensity, getting some plays out there. They've got that top line with so many goals this year between those 3 skaters.
Hines controls the draw out to Wyatt Peters. Back to Hines. He'll send it behind the net for Sammy Jaramillo. Sent behind the net even further by Shane Law for St. Bernard's. Jaramillo pokes it forward for Cody Berkio. Berkio now takes it back behind the net. Centering pass one time, goal! Colin Hines perfectly delivers into the net. 42 seconds gone. 42 is the answer to life, universe, everything, and how many seconds into the second period will the Raiders tie this game?
26 of their 46 goals have come from that top line. Make it 27 there from Colin Hines, his team leading 12th of the year. It's just a well-executed one-timer. Able to get all the blade on that puck and propel it straight into the net past Bergeron.
Quick shot by Tomczak, steered away by Richard. Taken back the other way by Hunter Kucher. Kucher sends it in behind the net, pursued there by Kyle Gendron. Goes along the far sideboard. Kucher can't keep it in. Brett Mayu gives chase, but it's grabbed for Pittsburgh by Alex Armstrong. Armstrong, by the way, got into it pretty hard and heavy with Hunter Lammy around the midpoint of that first period. We'll see if that continues. They were exchanging dinner reservations, perhaps. Going to Slattery's, I assume. Kucher gains the red line. He'll take it into the offensive zone. Takes the shot, stave made, steered wide. Comes back to Armstrong at the blue line. He sends it forward for Gendron. Gendron's shot trickles in. Kicked out by Bergeron. Grabbed there by St. Bernard's. They'll come the other way. Nick Tomczak. Swing and a miss for him. Poked forward by Broden Pratt. And taken back behind the Fitchburg net. Gendron saw the hit coming, so he was able to lean back into it. Probably still hurt, though. Kucher's got it. Backhand shot. Save made by Bergeron, and he'll hang on for a face-off. 13:07 gone in the second period. We're still level at 1.
We've talked about it before with Fitchburg Monty Tech. They've got a couple players on their team who play football. Tyler Brassard, as we know, for Fitchburg High, and Kim Begnosh for Monty Tech. And as you might expect at St. Bernard's, there are many multi-sport athletes. I was looking at the rosters during that first intermission, found 3 different players who were on the football team this year who are on this ice hockey team, and 2 who were on the football team last year who are on the ice hockey team this year. Colin Matchewitz is a golfer. Would be remiss if I didn't mention that.
lot of successful athletes at St. Bernard's this season. Wyatt Peters sends this one behind the net. Berkio, he'll take a shot, save made by Bergeron. Kicks back behind the net. Jaramillo loses the handle. He'll be taken there by the Bernardians. Shot, save made. Ben Stout couldn't put it in the back of the net. Another save, kicks to the near side boards. Pursued there for Fitchburg by Begnosh. Centering pass, shot by Majowicz, can't get in. Just wide to the right. Unable to keep it in is Adam Pepin. St. Bernard's will have to reset, but actually Fitchburg Monty Tech hasn't. Jaramillo to the face-off circle, now back behind the net. Berkio gives chase, comes out to Peters at the point. He sends it in back behind the net for Jaramillo once again. Jaramillo trying to find Armstrong at the blue line, but he loses the handle entirely. Winds up on the stick of Ryan Hill. Hill sends it along the near side boards. Colin Hines there for Fitchburg Monty Tech, but he gives it right back. This is Stout. Stout just dumps it all the way out. Alex Armstrong can't handle. St. Bernard's is changing behind. Chance for FMT to set up. Armstrong along the far side boards for Jaramillo. He's got Cole Howard with him. Decides to take it behind the net instead. Jaramillo goes all the way around. Finally takes it out to Armstrong. Armstrong's shot deflected, never gets in. Jaramillo winds up with it once again. Sammy Jaramillo, kind of like a point guard just in the way he handles the puck for this Fitchburg offense. Jaramillo spins around, tries the shot, it's deflected. I believe Shane Law got his lumber on that one. And it'll come along the near side boards for Armstrong. He pokes it back behind the net, chased there by Nolan Stout. Stout clears it out, and Brett Mayu will grab for Fitchburg Monty Tech. Mayu played it forward for Tyler Broussard. Broussard wanted no part of it. St. B sends it all the way in, but they do so illegally. We'll get a face-off in the Bernardian end.
Going back to those, the success that St. Bernard's had in the fall sports. We were very familiar with that football team down the stretch as they made their way to Gillette, state finalists. And golf, Patrick Kennedy, state champion of Division II in boys golf. Also a standout basketball player, so he's getting into the multi-sport athlete stuff as well.
Ken Begnosh sends it back behind the goal line, comes out to him at the blue line, he can't keep it in. Chance for St. Bernard's if they hurry. Colin Majowicz, he'll take a shot. It's deflected, goes back behind the net. Along the near side boards, fought for by Ryan Hill and Kyle Gendron. Begnosh clears it out past Kucher. It's going to go all the way in on Bergeron. He'll play it ahead for Hill. Loses the handle, centering pass, and that is in the net! Give the goal to Nick Paquette. The last man who touched it was Adam Pepin. Paquette was trying a centering pass. It hit Pepin's skate, goes in the back of the net. Fitchburg Monty Tech will take a 2-1 lead.
And for Bergeron, he's probably feeling a little frustrated. The way he had himself pinned up against the post, had his left pad elevated as he was ready to try to move if he needed to. You could see it just sneak under there. That gap didn't have it fully sealed, and because of that, it sneaks through him, and Fitchburg Monty Tech has the lead.
Draw comes all the way in on Owen Richard. He covers up. Take another look at the goal.
Assist to number 12, Kyle Gendron. Time to go 5 minutes.
I'm not sure that got a piece of Pep. It might have went straight in. Doesn't help matters, though.
Now chance for St. Bernard. Shot save made by Richard. Fitchburg Monty Tech 3-on-2. Can't keep the handle, though, can Colin Hines. Another opportunity. Wyatt Peters can't hand it either. Comes back out for Begnosh. Hines tries to send it forward, but it comes back the other way behind the Fitchburg net for Wyatt Peters once again. Peters will set up, send it to the far side to Berkio. Berkio tried to find Hines, was batted down temporarily. Winds up in neutral ice where it's grabbed by Nick Tomczak. Tomczak has a goal already, looking for another. Shot save made. Dangerous rebound, but it's gathered by Jaramillo. Jaramillo has Hines 2-on-3. Beats one man, another to beat. Centering pass for Hines, can't get there. Grabbed by Tomczak. Along the far side boards, winds up on the stick of Brett Mayu. Just under 9 minutes to play here in the second period. Red Raiders lead 2-1. They have indeed tied this game up and taken the lead. Sent ahead for St. Bernard's by Tomczak. He'll gain the blue line, keep it himself. No, they're going to rule that he was offside. I think Broden Pratt got a little bit jumpy. Killed the play, stopped the clock. 8:38 to go here in period number 2. Fitchburg Bonnie Tech enjoys a 1-goal lead.
2 goals in this period. Hines and kept the goal scorers. Those goals separated by 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Not even going to touch that one.
I wouldn't expect you to.
Thank you. We're professionals, dang it. Puck bounces along in the right wing corner. Gathered at the blue line, but we're going to get a whistle. Looks like interference is going to be called. And St. Bernard's will be on the power play as Jacob Pruno goes to the penitentiary. You like that one? I came up with it in the first penalty, but I never got a chance to use it, so. See right here behind the play.
Hit made, and you can see the direction that everybody's skating, because that's where the puck is, which is nowhere near where the hit was.
Yeah. If the puck was right there, that's a perfectly legal hit, but the puck wasn't right there, so you can't do that. St. Bernard's now with the power play. Chance for them to tie this game up. Ryan Hill's shot, another shot loose in front of the net. Whistle goes when the puck is still loose, but as we've discussed plenty of times today, if the officials can't see it, he's got to kill the play.
I wasn't sure myself if it was still loose, but I'm actually quite surprised that didn't end up in the net, considering how many times the puck changed direction on the way to the goal, and Richard holding his ground where he was. So let's have a look at this again if we can.
Shot off the face-off save made by Richard. We'll continue looking at the replay. Multiple opportunities there. Hunter Lammy had a great one. Plenty of guys there. Right there, I think, is where the whistle went, and then Richard finally covered up. But there were 8-9 bodies between the referee and the puck. I don't blame him for losing sight of it.
Only so much you can do in that situation. Yeah, we've talked about that already today.
Peters able to clear.
At least the puck was, that close, pinned in on Richard. It would have still been a challenge for St. Bernard's to pull that one out.
Stout dumps it behind the net. Sent along further by Peters. Comes out to Tomczak at the blue line. He'll dump it right back in behind the net. Grabbed there by Begnash. He'll try to clear. Tomczak says no. His shot goes wide. Comes along the other side, grabbed by Lammy. Lammy keeps it in. He'll just send it back behind the net once again. Peters will get another opportunity to clear. His pass is picked off. Now in front of the net. Shot save made by Richard. Another shot goes wide. Tried the wraparound to Majewicz, but he can't hold it. Comes back to Majewicz. He'll go behind the net for Stout. Stout is pressured there by Begnash. Comes out to the point to Hill. Hill from the face-off circle. Shot save made. Rebound. Goes back behind the net. Great defensive work there by Wyatt Peters, taking that puck away from danger. 30 seconds left on the power play. 6:45 in the period. Shot from center ice. Save made. Sprawling save. The puck's in the net. Hunter Lammy ties the game. Richard made save after save after save, but on the last one, Dan, he went full spread all the way down, and Hunter Lammy went top shelf. There was nothing Richard could do.
How Herculean an effort it had been for Richard to keep that out of the net, but eventually the puck squirts free, and Richard just fully committed, head down on the ice after all of that. I was thinking the way he had been moving so much during that power play, making him sweat probably quite a lot, and just all that he had to do to try to keep him at bay, but eventually the Bernardians would not be denied. They've got their equalizer. We're level at 2.
Hunter Lammy ties the game with 6:38 to go in the period. Give the assist to Ben Stout. For Stout, it's his 21st assist of the season. Lammy, his 20th goal. Ties this game at 2. Shot from outside the blue line is steered away by Bergeron. Chance for Fitchburg Monty Tech to answer. They've already scored twice this period. This puck goes up into the St. Bernard's bench.
I wonder if there was ever a St. Bergeron anywhere.
I'm sure there was. There must have been.
The patron
I know Bruins
saint,
fans wanted to do that at some point.
well, like the patron saint of defensive forwards.
The Patrice Saint. Come on now. It was right there. Stout and Jaramillo will take the draw just outside the Red Raiders zone. Jaramillo kicks it forward, but it winds up on the stick of Shane Law. He'll send it all the way into the Fitchburg Monty Tech end. Alex Armstrong clears. Jaramillo's got it. Chance for him to try to make something happen all by himself. Goes to the backhand. Good save by Bergeron, and then he covers up. Sammy Jaramillo almost made something out of nothing there. And hey, he's got a face-off in the offensive zone. That ain't quite nothing.
6 goals for Jaramillo this year. He had 9 last year, making some tremendous moves. He had to get around so many blue shirts and trying to make that cut move in front of the blue paint. The Bergeron able to stop there.
Shot by Armstrong got deflected by Stout, nearly wound up in the back of the net. Now back behind the net for Jaramillo. He'll try to clear it out. Hines just barely keeps it in, but barely is enough. Goes behind the net now for Berkio. Berkio bothered by Law. Comes to Hines, back for Berkio. Tried to find Hines again, couldn't quite do it. St. Bernard's will clear. Chance for them now to answer. Hunter Lammy scored the last goal to tie this game at 2. He wants another here. Centering pass, loose puck in front of the net. Richards plays out, and this time he's able to cover up.
Feels like for St. Bernard's, that's probably a big strength that they can get to the net, get to that blue paint. I think that's where Richard is most vulnerable. Tomzak had to do that to get the opening goal, and then we saw Lammy do that to get the equalizing goal here in the second period.
Throw bodies at the goal mouth. Eventually one of them's going to get the puck in the net. May not be sophisticated, but it dang sure is effective. Long stretch pass just barely beyond the stick of Nick Paquette, and it'll go for an icing. We'll get a face-off in the Fitchburg Monty Tech zone. .447 to play here in the very exciting second period of action from the Wallace Civic Center. Third game of our triple header. Shot off the face-off, goes just to the right of the net. Comes along the near side boards for Gallant. He sends it forward, now back to Gallant from the face-off dot pretty much. Rebound, very dangerous there. Broden Pratt had a wide open goal, but he couldn't quite get there thanks to the defensive work of Cam Begnosh.
That close to getting his first goal of the season.
Red Raiders able to clear, shot, save made, rebound chance, not quite good enough for Kyle Gendron. Couldn't get the backhander to go on the rebound. Now a chance for St. Bernard's to answer. This is Tomzak. Tomzak skates around Peters like he's barely there. Pulls up, can't quite get past Gendron though. Gendron's got the puck, he's able to avoid Tomzak for now. Tries to clear forward for Paquette, but Paquette can't get the handle. It winds up back in the Fitchburg Monty Tech end. Cleared right back out by Begnosh and sent right back into Begnosh. He hits Paquette. Paquette pokes it forward for Gendron. They'll try again. Sent it for Kuchar. I don't think Kuchar was looking for it. It winds up with Paquette, however. Fitchburg Monty Tech really not able to complete any passes in the last 45 seconds or so.
Quite a few passes where it feels like the intended recipient had no idea that they were the one who was supposed to gather that in.
Ryan Hill goes and grabs this for the Bernardians. He sends it forward for Majewicz. 3.5 minutes to go in the period, by the way. Poked ahead by Pratt. All the way into the Fitchburg Monty Tech end where it's grabbed by Jaramillo. He loses the handle. 1-on-3 is Majewicz. Now he's got help. Shot deflected, goes wide. Wyatt Peters turns away Ben Stout. Chance for Fitchburg Monty Tech on the other end. Pass for Colin Hines goes off his stick. It'll go into the St. Bernard's end. No icing as players give chase. Peters fighting in there with Ryan Hill. Comes out to Jaramillo. He spins around. He'll dump it off over to the right side. Shot save made by Bergeron. Comes out to the left face-off circle for Berkio. He gives it to Armstrong, who sends it in for Hines. Hines behind the net, bothered there by Ryan Hill. Jaramillo giving chase. Comes out to the blue line. St. Bernard's will clear. Bernardians pushing the pace. Comes back for Majewicz. He can't keep the handle. Now Fitchburg Monty Tech will go down the other end. Back and forth we go. Where we stop, nobody knows. Brett Mayu pursues the puck. He leaves it back for Hines. Hines is banged into the boards by Ben Stout. Physical play by both teams. Mayu is unable to keep it in at the blue line. St. Bernard's will pursue aggressively as we approach the 2-minute mark in this second period with 2 scores each side on the board. Deuces Wild at the Wallace Civic Center. Battling in the right wing corner, comes along the near side boards for Law. He sends it right back in, back behind the Fitchburg Monty Tech end. Centering pass by Stout, nobody home. Comes out for Lammy, but he can't do anything with it. Stout will take it back behind the net. Another centering pass. This one is deflected. Not quite cleared by Hines, but Jaramillo will do so. Chance for him and Berkio to make something happen. Jaramillo is dispossessed. Berkio is bludgeoned. Shane Law is making a lot of friends on the near side. Taken behind the net by Tomczak. He gets walloped by Berkio. Jaramillo now. From the face-off circle, cross-ice pass for Mayu. Mayu's shot is deflected. Grabbed there by Tomczak. Tomczak's got a chance. He's got Pratt with him. He's going to leave it for Pratt. Throw to Pratt back in. Save made by Richard. A great save by Owen Richard. 1 minute left to play in the second period. 2 minutes apiece. 2 goals apiece, rather. Centering pass, nobody home for St. Bernard's. Another one centering pass. Tomczak can't get the handle. Adam Pepin will gather and send it back in, and we will all collectively take a breath. 40 seconds left in the period. Nick Paquette with it for Fitchburg Monty Tech. Red Raiders trying to set up a play. Might send them into the locker rooms with the lead. Dumped into the offensive zone for St. Bernard's, but they do so a little bit over aggressively. It'll be an icing and a face-off on the left side of the ice with 30 seconds left in the period. Let's take a look, Dan, at this last save by Owen Richard. It's 2-on-1. Pratt's got it on the backhand, and right there with the tip of the skate. Oh, that's a good save. Tell me that's a good save.
Oh, yeah. At first I thought, it happened so quickly. I thought Pratt may have had it slip off his stick. No, he made good contact with that one. He did what he needed to do. It was just Richard got across there, got the pad out, and shut it down.
Wyatt Peters gains the blue line. 15 seconds left to play in the period. Pass hits Gendron pretty much in the belly. He spins around trying to find it. Players are going to battle alongside the boards. 7 seconds left in the period. Last chance is going to go to Fitchburg Monty Tech, but I don't think it's going to come to anything. We will go to the locker rooms level at 2. Dan, we have had 3 very entertaining hockey games here on Hockey Day in the Berg. The first decided in overtime. The second turned into a blowout, but it was very entertaining while it was tight. And this main event, Fitchburg Monty Tech and St. Bernard's, you see Owen Richards literally being embraced by his teammates for his work at the end of that second period. This is a good hockey game.
Oh yeah, it's a great hockey game, a great atmosphere here, great energy here in the stands. We saw Fitchburg Monty Tech, they got their 2 goals, just took 42 seconds in. Colin Hines striking on the one-timer to tie it. Nick Paquette able to sling it into the net from a tight angle to make it a 2-1 lead. But then we saw on the other end, with Helter Skelter in the blue paint, Hunter Lammy able to equalize for St. Bernard's. Good chances on both ends, shots 20-19 in favor of the Red Raiders. That's 12 for the Fitchburg Monty Tech side in the first period and 13 for St. Bernard's. So a very close period, and with at least 15 more minutes of hockey here in Hockey Day in the Berg, we should be in for an exciting finish.
You mentioned it was a very close period in terms of shots on goal. That was just a very close period in general. Both teams created a massive amount of opportunities. Easily 4 goals aside could have been scored in this second period.
If there had been weaker goaltending, it could be a much more lopsided game, but both goalies have been playing pretty well.
Great work by both netminders. Fantastic offenses on either side. 4 goals have found the net thus far. I have to think there's going to be at least one more, but the only way to find out is to stick with us. Dan and I will have the 3rd period of the 3rd game of the Tebow Family Rehabilitation Trust triple header. Hockey Day in the Berg continues right here on FATV. We have at least 15 more minutes of hockey to play here from the Wallace Civic Center on Hockey Day in the Berg. Again, all proceeds from today's events benefiting the Tebow Family Rehabilitation Trust. You see the link in the QR code on the screen, fatv.org/TBO14. But in addition, Dan, to a tremendous cause, it has been a tremendous day of hockey here from the Wallace Civic Center. And this game between Fitchburg Monty Tech and St. Bernard's might be the best of them. It is 2-2 through 2. And let's take a look at some of the highlights of an exciting second period of action. First goal for Fitchburg scored by Colin Hines. And then this one credited to Nick Paquette. Take another look at this. I thought it hit off the skate of Adam Pepin. Might have just been a great bad angle shot by Paquette. Other side of the ice, some tremendous goalkeeping by Owen Richards. Some more big, heavy hits leveled by both teams. And then this play where the puck's just loose in front of Richard. He finally covers up. And then a very similar play toward later in the end of the period. This time it stays loose. Hunter Lammy's able to put it in the back of the net. That tied the game at 2. Then there was more great goaltending. This save by Chase Bergeron, a big hit. And then that tremendous save by Owen Richard right toward the dying moments of the period kept us level at 2. Danny, you're a goaltender. I lean on you a little bit more than I should perhaps. That's a tremendous save, right?
Yeah, to get across like that quickly with a player closing in like that on the one-timer. You can see Alex Armstrong trying to go down and block the passing lane as best he could, but able to wait him out, get the pass off, and you've got to get over there, get ready. It's very challenging, and Roden Pratt did what he could do there. You got it on his stick and try to get it in the net there. A solid touch on, but Richard just able to get across in the nick of time to keep that out and keep this game tied.
Shots on goal 20-19 in favor of Fitchburg Monty Tech. You see there just a little slice of the enthusiasm that this crowd has brought to this game. It has been an electric atmosphere. It's not often, Dan, where we do a game with Fitchburg State in one game and then there's a high school game where the high school game has the better crowd. This high school game, this all-Fitchburg affair, has a tremendous crowd.
It's local pride. Also, just the fact that you got St. Bernard's on the near side. The Bernardians having a tremendous season, 9-3. Trying to extend their winning streak to 9 games. You have to go back a number of years to find the last time they won this many games in a row. And for Fitchburg Monty Tech, another great season for them, 8-4. It's still plenty of, each team has 4 seniors for Fitchburg Monty Tech. Well, that means a little differently considering that they've got more players. But they've got a solid core, and they know they're going to be solid for another year or so at the minimum. And for St. Bernard's, they know that they've got something really strong building there. 15 more minutes to play. Owen Napolitano ready to drop the puck for the 3rd period of action. The draw won by Ben Stout. He throws it right towards goal, and Owen Richard is able to glove that, leave it. And now Lammy on the right side, backhands and save. Rebound, another chance. He's scrambling, and he somehow made a save. Sprawled out, full extension. Offside against Fitchburg Monty Tech.
Colin Hines just barely unable to keep that puck in the zone. Well, right away, Dan, less than a minute, less than 30 seconds into the third period, Owen Richard was tested hard by St. Bernard's.
Just fully diving out there, cutting down the low angle, just hoping that deep they weren't going to be able to elevate it. I'm pretty sure he's able to make a stop somewhere in all of that. Berkio has to go off the heel of his stick. Jaramillo in the left wing corner. Red Raiders going left to right now in the home whites. And St. Bernard's in the dark blues going right to left here in this third period. This Coughlin conference matchup in conference play, 6-1 are the Red Raiders, 3-3 are the Bernardians. Cam Begnosh, the right side, his shot ricochets off the pads of Ben Stout. And now a 3-on-2 developing with Hunter Lammy, trying to drop it from Majewicz, but pass well behind him. Comes out of the zone and it'll be picked up by Ryan Hill. Jaramillo with a strong stick work. Cody Berkio gets dispossessed by Hill as he tries to go to the right side and behind the net. Adam Peckin moves it along. On the far side, Majewicz moves it along for Ben Stout. Stout will dump it in. It's right on target. And with Broden Pratt working around, he'll blow the whistle and give him the face-off.
That puck wasn't even covered. Like, Richard put his glove on it and he lowered it down. We watched the puck trickle out and run down his leg. Official blew the whistle anyway. Not a bad call.
St. Bernard's trying to throw it in the direction of goal. Alex Armstrong move it up for Gendron. Gendron up ice on the left wing. Gets away from the hit, tries to center for Kucher. Goes off the shaft of his stick it up in the air. Brett Bayou keeps it in the zone. See on the right side, Paquette. Gendron. Gendron gets the shot off. And stopped by Bergeron.
Both of these teams defensively are basically forcing the other to skate the puck in very close to goal. Any long distance shot is gonna get blocked.
One of the things that I watch for with St. Bernard's and how they play this third period, one of the things that's gone positively for them, they're playing a rough and tumble game, but they've also been playing clean. No penalties against the Bernardians thus far. Both penalties have been against Fitchburg Monty Tech, and the second one led to the tying goal. See if that keeps up in the third. Kucher on the right side gets the shot off, and it's gloved by Bergeron. Also mentioned Chase Bergeron, he's the only netminder on the St. B's roster. Last year, Mackenzie Donahue was the lone netminder. She had to weather a storm of shots there. It was quite the challenge. The year before, the first year in the revival of the pandemic season, Donahue was paired with Hannah Bergeron, who's now playing at Arcadia University in Glenside, Pennsylvania. There's a shot and goal! Colin Hines gets the shot from the slot, might have even changed direction on the way. But Fitchburg Monty Tech has retaken the lead.
I think the Raiders think it went in for Jaramillo. Let's take another look.
Hines got the shot, and there were two players down there with their sticks in there in Berkio and Jaramillo. And the way that they're claiming the goal, they feel that maybe Jaramillo was the one who got his stick to redirect it in. We'll get confirmation from Jim LaPointe. But regardless, it's a 3-2 lead. Fitchburg Monty Tech.
22, Sammy Jaramillo. Assisted by number 18, Cody Bergeron. Time of the goal, 2:41, third period.
Sigford did not give Hines an assist for taking the shot.
Interesting.
I'm giving him that assist anyway. I don't care.
I feel you should.
Well, let's have a look at it from this angle. This will tell us the story.
It definitely went in. Okay, Hines took the shot. Jaramillo got the deflection that went in the net. Berkio stood in the area and got credit for an assist. It's good work if you can get it.
Now on the other end, there's a shot juggled a bit by Richard off the stick of Hunter Lammy.
I think that one took a deflection as it came in as well.
And they've now changed the goal to Hines.
But given an assist to Jaramillo, who actually scored it, and Berkio, who did nothing.
Or may have scored it, and it's like Berkio may have had the pass before to Hines.
That's a fair point.
Anyway, it's 3-2.
It is 3-2. That's what matters.
Pittsburgh Monty Tech is in front, 11-10 to go in regulation time. You suspected there'd probably be another goal in this third period.
Didn't take long.
Not at all. Less than 3 minutes. Here's Gentrin. Kucher gets the shot off. Bergeron will pat it away. Hopping around on the near side boards. Nolan Stout moves it along. The Guardians will change lines on the far side. And that'll come out of the zone and down the ice. Jaramillo, the right wing corner. Now for Berkio, back, trying to get back to Jaramillo. They'll eventually get it. Mayu calls for the puck. Goes off a stick and eventually gets to him. Lammy not gonna make it that easy. Far side Armstrong stepping up. Sticks clashing on the far side and a 3-on-2 developing for St. Bernard's. Ben Stout gets a shot off, save, and Hines had to be careful not to have that coming off of him into the net. There's another shot that's turned aside by Richard. Through traffic that goes wide. Jaramillo settle it on the right side. Armstrong getting his stick on the puck, puts it through the legs of Nolan Stout. Now a 3-on-1. Here's the saucer pass, and the finishing pass to Hines just misses the mark. Had Bergeron dead to rights. Ben Stout on the other end, tries to get the feed to Matchowitz, goes off a Red Raider skate. 9:25 to go in the third period. 3-2, Pittsburgh Monty Tech in front. Shots now 24 apiece.
I think we're going to get a penalty here against Pittsburgh Monty Tech. Alex Armstrong's going to the box.
Power play number 3 of this game, all for St. Bernard's. They're 1 for 2 thus far.
And they'll take their timeout.
Good time to talk about things.
So now, poor Alex Armstrong has to sit in the box for the entirety of the timeout and then serve his penalty.
Yeah.
Can he at least go listen to his coach? This feels wildly unfair. I feel bad for Alex Armstrong now.
There are some rinks they haven't developed in which they put the benches, everything bench-wise, on one side of the rink, and the penalty boxes just end up being a partition on the edge of the bench, basically. We're going to look at the penalty again. And we can see as the puck is getting away, he's tangled up with Ben Stout, and even as the puck is no longer available, still engaging with Stout, and that's what the penalty's for.
Yeah, I feel like you can't bludgeon the man with your stick in that manner.
Yeah. But going back to the partition thing, at least in those situations, they can listen in during the timeouts.
That's true.
But it also seems kind of weird, you come out of the box and you just have to go 2 feet or just sneak over the bench. It feels more disciplinary, like when the penalty boxes are actually separated from the benches. High rising shot is gloved by Richard.
It's true. And that's what they're for, you know. The penalty box is a deterrent, first and foremost. It's not an effective deterrent if it doesn't suck to be in there.
Draw comes to the right of Richard. Controlled by the Red Raiders. They try to clear it out of the zone. Pomzak tries to keep it in. He had the opening goal in this contest. But he pops free to Cody Berkio on the right side. Berkio, bad angle shot. Bergeron in the vertical horizontal pads it away with that left pad. 70 seconds to go on the man advantage, third of the night for the Bernardians. And Adjewitz not able to keep control of it. Hill trying to turn it towards goal. That got caught in the body. Tomczak around for Stout. Overshot the mark. Wyatt Peters try to move it along. Cody Barkio getting a stick in there. Blue shirts on top of that one. Pinballs around, they score! Majewicz ties the game on the power play.
Majewicz went full extension to make sure he got his stick on that one. Take another look. Majewicz delivers the pass to Lammy. Lammy goes back to Majewicz. Majewicz sprawls out to the ice, but he ties this game in 3.
Basically nothing you can do if you're Owen Richard. That was just sharp passing. We're level again. Second power play goal for the Bernardians. Now bad angle there. And Chase Bergeron holding it down with the right pad, keeping that flush to the ice.
Assisted by number 3, Hunter Lammy. Time to power play goal, 6:51, third period.
Lammy gets his 17th assist of the season, and as Lammy got his 20th goal of the year back in the second period, Majewicz gets his 20th goal of the year here in the third. 20 seconds short of halfway in this third period. 3-3 the score, 26-26 are the shots. It's about as evenly balanced as can be. From behind the net, trying to find somewhere to go. Gets a shot off, is Gendron, and Bergeron says no. Bruno on the right side off the boards. Brett Mailloux gets a shot through a lot of traffic, doesn't get all the way through. Still loose on the right side. Gendron able to pick it up. Tries to bad angle, maybe looking for a bank shot. But Nolan Stout's not gonna have any of that. Gendron on the right, out to that left corner. Armstrong blasts it with the wrist, but it's cut down in front. Now you're gonna step up, try to keep it in the zone. Good zone pressure here by Fitchburg Monty-Tech. Under 7 to go in the frame in a 3-3 hockey game. Gendron engaging with Tomczak. Tomczak will win the puck and bring it up on a 3-on-2. Tomczak, shot saved by Richard.
Dan, I want to speak directly to the folks at home. Granted, that's something we always do. We're always trying to engage in dialogue with our audience. But listen, I want to speak directly to the people at home right now. If you have been watching this game and you have not been entertained, hockey is not for you. This is not your sport. Try golf, try badminton, try pool, try Texas Hold'em, try anything else. If you do not like this hockey game, hockey is not for you. This hockey game rules.
A tremendous game, 3-3. The last 2 penalties have been appropriately punished, if you will. Those going against Fitchburg Monty-Tech, and both times those power plays ended with the puck in the back of the Red Raider net. A shot taken from distance by Lammy will be gobbled up by Richard. He'll hold for a draw with 5:59 to go in this game. 3-3.
Richard had that one hit him right in the center of his chest, bounced into the glove. He held on, drew a face-off, which will come to his left.
Draw is controlled by the Red Raiders, able to clear it out of the zone down the ice. Tubachu, icing will bring it back and run some time off the clock. Fitchburg Monty-Tech will take a week off. They'll be back in action February 4th, taking on the Tigers of Littleton Bromfield, 7 o'clock start from the Groton School. We'll be back at home until February 11th, 2 weeks from today, as they'll play Leominster for the 3rd and final time in the 22-23 season. Handled them pretty easily the first 2 times. Hunter Kuchar battling for that loose puck with Paquette poking it free. Pepin trying to move it along. But here's Kuchar for Paquette off his skate. Can't handle it, can't play it cleanly. Another odd man rush coming for the Bernardians. Ben Stout trying to take it all the way, but not able to get the cleanest of shots. Paquette into the zone. He's got Jenron to his left. Get under the pressure, moves it around to the right wing corner, will be taken by the Bernardians. Now up by Stout. Nudge it along. Just the way that they rushed on that last odd man rush. Do you think maybe these Bernardians' legs are getting tired?
They're not playing like it.
Only 2 lines the whole game. That's all they have. They've only got 10 skaters tonight. Raiders are in a bad spot with too many men. And they are going to get called for it. They may try to argue that 1 or 2 of them were in proximity to the bench, but they weren't coming as if they were going to come off the ice. Skating parallel to the bench is not getting on the bench.
No. One would argue that getting on the bench is getting on the bench.
So with 4:48 to go.
It'll be Alex Armstrong serving the penalty. You can see he's not terribly happy with that development.
Back in the bin. Too many men against the Red Raiders. Power play number 4 for St. Bernard's.
And as you were just saying, Dan, the last 2 times St. Bernard's was on the man advantage, they ended it with a goal. If they can do that again, may well be a game winner.
Last year in Hockey Day in the Berg, it was 2-2 late. And Fitchburg Monty Tech got the winner over Lunenburg Air Shirley with about 3 minutes left in that contest. Looks like we're going to be in for another late game deciding moment, perhaps. Draw to the left of Richard. Won by the Red Raiders ever so briefly. Goes to the right point. Hill moving along in front. Larry safe rebound. Oh, and it goes wide. Madrowitz had a golden opportunity. Still loose deep in the slot, and the Raiders clear. "45 seconds gone in this power play. Approaching 4 minutes to go in regulation time. 3-3 the score. Shots in this period 10-7 in favor of St. Bernard's. That shot ricochets wide off the boards, taken by Tomzak. Tries to move it along. Madrowitz's shot is blocked. The Raiders coming back with numbers. A 2-on-1 developing. Jaramillo trying to feed Berkio. Berkio to the goal. Save by Bergeron!
If you do not like this game, hockey is not for you. That's it.
The pass was there. Berkio made the moves. And Chase Bergeron, the freshman, gets across and makes his biggest save of the night.
Berkio's right there. Bergeron goes diving to his right, makes the kick save. In the process, I think he tripped up his own teammate, and that sent the Bernardian flying into the net, which is why we had the stoppage.
40 to go on the power play. Shot by Madrowitz. Excuse me. I think that was Gallant who got the shot. And it goes off of Richard, pops in the air, and he's able to glove it for a draw.
Another terrifying hearts and throats moment for Fitchburg Monty Tech. Richard's able to corral the rebound and draw the faceoff.
That's going to ride the boards, go out of play. 32 to go on the power, exactly 200 seconds left in regulation. 3-3 the score. St. Bernard's looking for revenge. The last time they lost, it was to these Red Raiders back on December the 21st. Since then, 8 wins in a row for the blue and gold. Cleared all the way down. Miscommunication on who should try to go after that puck. So Shane Law had to go and play that along with the pressure from Colin Hines. Zone regained illegally. Offside's going to be called. 6 seconds to go in the power play for St. Bernard's. 2:54 to go in regulation.
That offside probably robs the Bernardians of their last real chance on this power play. Might get something quick, but more than likely we're going back to even strength.
Gallant will get a shot off. That will be gloved by Richard. Penalty is up, and Armstrong comes off. He's still sitting on, he wasn't the sharpest one to the door.
He stayed in there a couple seconds longer than he had to.
Scampered right to the bench when he realized the penalty was up. Well, it wasn't his penalty. He was just serving the too many men. Appeals for offsides. Not going to be called, but I think the Raiders, the way they backtracked a little bit, may have felt a little guilty. In the end, it's going to be icing. 2:27 to go. 3-3 the score. And the draw coming to one side of Chase Bergeron. He's made 25 saves tonight.
Take a look at this big hit delivered to Colin Hines. You see the intensity with which these teams are playing this game. It is close and late. It is local bragging rights on the line.
Ben Stout coming in on goal. That one turned aside. It's behind the net. That angle looking for a redirection somewhere. Another shot blocked. Goes in the right wing corner. Raiders play it off the boards. Kept in at the right point. Shot goes high, strikes a stanchion, goes to the near side. Cleared down. That will go for icing. 1:55 to go in regulation. Shot 6-13-13 for the Bernardians for 32. The Red Raiders 8-12, 8 for 28. The draw comes to the right side of Owen Richard. 29 saves for the sophomore, who got his first varsity win against these Bernardians. Looking for another one here. Puck squirts out on the far side, and St. Bernard's are going to get called for their first penalty all night, I think. I believe Ryan Gallant's going to go for a hook.
It's going to be Shane Law, ironically.
19 and 18 look pretty similar in this one, don't they?
They do. They very much do.
Visiting side here on the near side, not terribly happy with that. It's the first time all night that a Bernardine has sit in the bin. Shane has run afoul of the law.
Timeout called by Fitchburg Monty Tech. Gives us time to make, how many more jokes can we get in? Can we get in 3 more jokes about a guy named Law breaking the rules of hockey and no, that doesn't count?
Well, we can try.
Okay.
You can see.
I mean, the obvious one is that he fought the law and the law won.
He did. He was talking with Joe Goff, Owen Napolitano, the referees, about what happened there.
We'll take a look at it again, see if we can spot the hooking foul. Law is number 18. See him right there, top of your screen. Just basically getting involved with Jaramillo in a way that is against the laws of the game. Hey, there's another one.
I honestly would have called a hold rather than a hook.
Hey, you know, semantics. The law is a very semantic-heavy field. So
There's our referees, and if you're interested in being a referee, so many resources you can reach out. Always need more referees.
Absolutely.
Oh, Napolitano, he was a standout at Oakmont. Went right into officiating out of high school. I'm telling you, he's pretty young because after all, I called him calling ice hockey. Draw will come to the right of Bergeron. First power play all night for Fitchburg Monty Tech. a golden opportunity to grasp the victory. The left side shot blocked by Bergeron. Checks his glove for a moment, make sure he's got that securely in the mitt.
You know what's an inevitability if we do this long enough?
Yeah.
One day, we're going to call games with the kids of kids we used to call.
Brings up a story, but I've got to find the time to weave it in. Now, they settle for it in the slot, trying to get a stick on it, trying to push it towards goal. Instead, Nick Tomczak will get it out of the zone and down the ice. Approaching 60 seconds to go in regulation. Hines trying to pass it along. Hunter Lammy with a loose stick will knock it away. Lammy trying to go to goal. Doesn't get anything away. Everyone on the near side appeals for a penalty. None is given. And the Raiders survive. A close shave there.
You can hear the fans on the near side screaming, that's a tackle.
Feel we're in the wrong sport for this. Raiders struggling to regain the zone. 25 to go in regulation. Dumped down the length of the ice again. Richard will leave it for Wyatt Peters. 15 seconds. Cody Berkio trying to make his way to goal, trying to feed one in front. And on the airborne puck, it'll be snared by Chase Bergeron.
Jaramillo was right there, too. As soon as Bergeron made that save, you saw him almost hold the puck in Jaramillo's face for a second, as if to say, no, 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 I have this puck. Take another look at that attempt by Hunter Lammy.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
I don't think so. I think that's just a hockey incident.
That's good stick work by Peters, and Lammy just goes down with the pressure. St. Bees clears it down the length of the ice. The buzzer sounds to bring an end to regulation. The score, Fitchburg Monty Tech 3 and St. Bernard's 3.
This has been a tremendous game, Dan. Just an absolutely tremendous game.
Indeed it has. I'll get that story in quickly while I'm thinking about it.
Do it.
Was last year I was calling a game, I believe Fitchburg Monty Tech and Littleton Bromfield. Kevin Lazoff, the head coach of Littleton Bromfield, close with the Jake Tebow family. Jake was actually there at that game watching it. Dean Fuller was there as well. We got to talk with him a little bit, and he was saying, you know, I was watching a game with, I think, North Middlesex, I think is who he mentioned. He said, there are 4 kids on that team whose dads I coached. Well, Dean Fuller.
He's been doing this for a while.
I mean, there's that banner over there on the left side, 1,000 games coach. Yeah, he's been doing it a long time. So that's what that reminded me of. So it's 5 minutes of 4-on-4, but since we have the carryover penalty, it's going to be 4-on-3 to start.
Fitchburg Monty Tech with 21 seconds left on that power play. Chance for them to put this one away early in the overtime.
They'll switch sides. Shane Law will return to the discipline box, where he'll serve the remaining 21 seconds. They switch ends. St. Bernard's will go left to right, and Fitchburg Monty Tech from right to left. 2 overtime games on Hockey Day in the Berg. A pretty solid prep game in the middle. Flurry of excitement coming here to close off the day as Jaramillo gains the zone, gets the shot off wide to the right. Touched along and cleared down the length. Richard get his stick out there, just knock it into the corner, but Ben Stout getting on his horse. Stout turning that towards goal, just stealing that puck away, and Owen Richard makes the stop.
Ben was not the only one who was stout on that exchange. Owen Richard made himself a very large presence in that net. Managed to keep one of the leading Bernardian goal scorers from ending this game.
The penalty is up to Shane Law, and he's out on the ice on the right side of the defense. Mayu blows a tire, so does a Bernardian. Ben Stout battling with Brett Mayu now. On the near side, stretch pass, settle down, here's Gendron. Coming with Bruno, shot is saved by Bergeron. Mayu on the left side, can't get one cleanly away. So we 2-on-1 back. Here's Ben Stout into the zone. Stout trying to play in front, they score! Hunter Lammy wins it in overtime! And just like Plymouth State's winning streak would not end here in Fitchburg, neither will St. Bernard's. It's 9 in a row!
Plymouth State won it in the dying seconds of overtime. St. Bernard's wins it in the very first minute. Take another look at the game-winning goal from Hunter Lammy.
So many times they brushed up ice tonight with the numbers. Takes it as deep as he can, and he finds Lammy right on the doorstep. Whiffs on it initially. Was able to pick it up and backhand it in with Richard completely sold out.
I actually think, Dan, that puck got caught up in the skates of Kyle Gendron, and that's part of the reason that Richard was so desperately out of position for it. Richard was sliding in to stop what would have been the initial shot by Lammy, but because the puck got caught up with Richard, Lammy had to adjust, Richard couldn't adjust, and Lammy wound up with a wide open net. He slipped the backhand in.
Wallace Civic Center, 3-star selection for tonight's game.
Listen to the 3-star selection.
Number 3-star goes to the Raiders. Number 20, Colin Hines, with 2 goals tonight. Number 2-star on the game with the game-winning goal in overtime. Number 3, Hunter Lammy. And number 1-star tonight goes to Bernardian Center. Number 23, Ben Stout. 2 assists, including a game winner.
Colin Hines, the third star.
The
Hunter Lammy,
Lammy,
the second. Ben Stout, the first star. Well-earned awards for all parties. Take another look from another angle at the game-winning goal.
Stout going in deep there. What's out in front off the skate of Gendron. Lammy able to get on that one, backhanded in, and get the winner. As St. Bernard's has their 10th win of the season. They'll definitely be going to the playoffs this year with a guaranteed winning record. They win it 4-3 in overtime. Fitchburg Monty Tech falls to 8-5. And for the 3rd time this year, they have fallen in bonus hockey, all by 4-3 score lines. Curse score line for them.
Yeah, they should just never let games get tied at 3. It doesn't end well.
It has not. But still, it was a great performance by both these teams. And for St. Bernard's, as we said, 10 skaters they've had at their disposal. But even at the very end, you can see the wheels that they still have.
Absolutely. Just a tremendous effort from the very first moment. Obviously credit to the guys on the ice. Of course, they're the ones who actually played the game. I was so impressed with the fans, the turnout here from the St. Bernard's faithful. It started the moment the Bernardians took the ice for warm-ups, and they did not let up for the entire game. The same culture that the Bernardians brought to the ice, the Bernardian fans brought to the stands, creating an incredibly electric atmosphere here in the 3rd game of our triple header. Again, all the proceeds from today, we've said it a lot of times because it's a very important cause. all of the proceeds from today going to the Tebow Family Rehabilitation Trust, benefiting Jake Tebow and his recovery from his terrible injury. Jake was here, dropped the ceremonial puck before the first game, the Fitchburg State game. We had that. We had his old school, the Milton Academy, and then we had 2 Fitchburg schools for a Fitchburg kid. Fitchburg Monty Tech and St. Bernard's put on a classic game in our main event.
Just a tremendous amount of fun here today. And St. B's coming away with a big win for Fitchburg State in the first game, battling one of the best teams in the nation down to the brink. But Plymouth State was able to escape. And then the middle game, Milton Academy with a decisive victory over at St. George's School.
4-3 the final in the main event. We want to thank you all for being with us here throughout this incredible day. The entire FATV crew did a fantastic job. Thank you to every single one of them. For Dan Bolek, I am John Gugerty saying thank you for being with us. We will see you next time right here on FATV.